Hello YouTube, so today I need to fix this Hisense washing machine. It's only about 2 years old and probably slightly over 2 years old, 6 months out of its warranty, and it appears that the motor's gone. When I put my hand inside the drum, it's really hard to turn. I mean, I've taken the belt off now, so it should spin like this. And basically it was kind of really hard to turn. So I've had a look at the back, made sure the filter's clear and the belt's on. And it's quite clearly the motor, which I'll show you in a second. So I've ordered the second-hand motor because this I don't want to spend too much more money on this, and we'll see how it goes. First thing to do is disconnect the power, which I've done already, and this belt was already off. I'm just kind of showing you how it is. The motor's down here, drives this belt that turns the drum. So I've taken this already, but just kind of showing you how that's connected. So the main reason I know it's the motor in this situation. This is very kind of hard to turn. It kind of feels like it's grabbing on one side. So I'm not quite sure what the reason of that would be, whether one of the magnets is burnt out and it's pulling on one side, but that should be a lot freer to turn. As you can tell, like I'm pushing that and it's not really turning. Like it does turn, but it has literally no response. You turn it on, the device powers up, the washing machine powers up. This does nothing. It just doesn't. You don't hear it hum, don't hear it try. It does nothing. So the first protocol would be just to change motor. So I've had a look underneath, which I'll show you the codes in a minute, and it's a motor here. They're about, well, one place advertised it for 350. I think it's about 180 or something like that. I managed to get this second-hand motor. Hopefully, fingers crossed, it works. The 50 quid on eBay, £10 delivery. I looked at the bottom, got the right product code, so it's exactly the same one. And hopefully that'll be it. So this video is going to be the process of taking it off. It looks like it's going to be a little bit awkward with some of the internal bolts. These should be quite easy. I have to lift the washing machine up and try and get underneath, but we'll hopefully get through without too much pain and be a successful fix. I've not even looked at it yet, so fingers crossed it is a good one. Here we have the new motor. It looks like it needs a bit of a clean. I mean, mine actually looks newer, but what can you do? It's broken. So it spins, so hopefully it should work. I mean, it is frustrating. This washing machine is 2 years old, out of warranty. What can you do? So fingers crossed. So it's now cleaned up as much as I can. It's definitely an older motor, but it doesn't really mean much. You know, if mine's broken, this works all good. So underneath the washing machine, you can actually see the bottom of this. And I managed to find this motor, and you've got to make sure it's exactly the right one with this code here. So WDHX350FC. So that's what I searched. It's exactly the same model of motor. It looks like it's going to have 4 bolts to go in. These two will be quite easy. These two are a little bit harder to get in, but I've got some sockets for that. And then hopefully, I think it will drop out the bottom of the washing machine. So I'm going to have to work out a way of raising the washing machine and then offering it up. So I think the hardest part is going to be offering up this one. But let's get started. So over here, you can see this definitely hasn't got any free spin, that one. And then this one, see there's a bit of free spin there. I'll show you about the end. And there's no free spin at all. So it has to be a motor issue. So let's get started. I'm going to take out, it looks like on this one, once you unplug here, that is probably everything for the motor. Now, one thing I have noticed that might cause a problem, I was hoping that this would just be a switch that would unplug and plug into here, but I think they might be slightly different because this looks like it's just going to accept a switch. There's nothing else to come out there. So these little kind of wings there hold it in place. And you can put, that's all one switch. It looks like it just plug in. So looking at this one on the side, I'm not sure if it's exactly the same. So it looks like that is got some wings that attach to whatever the female socket is. So I think I'm going to have to try and take the motor out and have a look to see if it's different, and then see what I can do. So it looks like it's a 10mm socket. Get these off. So this bolt is quite awkward. You can't get at it with a socket. If you get, first bolt's fine. You can get the 10mm on, but unless you have something, unless you get some sort of very, very right-angled bit, which I don't think you'll be able to get, it's almost impossible to get that in there. But it's an easy solution. These, I mean, even a normal spanner would do, but these are brilliant. So this, am I right? Be careful, these bits here are quite sharp, but that's it. It's all about having the right tools. So underneath the washing machine, probably the best way to get to the last two bolts. You can see here the model number, and there should be two bolts. One is going to be there, and one just there. So they're going to be very fiddly. You could maybe get them from the front, but I'm going to give it a go from the back, and then work out what's going on with this, if this is going to need changing at all. Well, that's quite handy. It turns out these back are just slide-ons. So I didn't realise that. That just slides on. So it's just those two bolts at the front, and then just there is a slide-on. So those two bolts, slide it off, drop it down, and then not too bad. See what we get going on with this this socket. There we go. That was easy. Just two of these screws that come out, and it just slides off on the end. That's pretty easy. So now it's just having a look here. I'm really hoping it just plugs in. That's an easy job. If not, I've got to work something out. So good news, it's exactly the same. This is the old one. Yeah, that's the old one. So you can see this is just secured into that hole just there, and it just plugs in. So exactly the same. It should hopefully just plug back in, and we'll be done. As you can see, I mean, one thing to note is that obviously this is being sold for a reason, and it's going to be because it's from a faulty machine. So I imagine there was some other issue with this machine, maybe a leak because you've got a bit of water in the back. But as you can tell, that is, doesn't freeze spin at all. Now I don't know if that's repairable. I doubt it is. I wouldn't mind knowing what the issue is. But nothing. And then here, get focused a bit more. See, giving it a spin, and it's got a little bit, obviously got a bit of resistance because it's got magnets in it, but it's got a bit of spin on it. Now you might know in the comments about what causes this. Obviously I'm going to do some research. I'm thinking maybe it's all balanced with magnets. One of the magnets is burnt up, something's gone wrong, and it's just pulling on one side. But I would like to know if that's repairable, because if it is, I might give it a go. I've never given it a go at trying to fix a motor before, but I'm sure it's doable. So time to put this one in and see if it works. So you can see now, before I put it in, that there's these 4 prods that are built into the drum that it sits on, and it's the screw that goes into these and holds it in place. It doesn't actually screw into the motor, they just sit on there, and then you get the screw that goes in and then holds it in. So you've got to place it on those. No screws on these last 2, but screws on the front 2. Plug it in, and fingers crossed it should be okay. Okay, that's pretty easy. Just slides on. Got to get all 4 matched up, but no drama there. So now I think, now it's in from underneath, I'm going to drop it down, put the screws in, plug it in, put the belt on, back plate on, and give it a go. So as you can see now, the new motor's in. I mean, it doesn't really matter, does it? It's on the inside of the washing machine. It's a bit of a shame that it looks a bit older, but obviously it works. So as you can see, so this now slides on those prongs that you saw. This is just a hole. So then these go on, and they just kind of hold it in, place. So that is actually now screwing into the drum with this washer holding it in place. Only 2 bolts. Now you can't really get this wrong because I was worried a bit about which way round it goes. Normally it's kind of engineered that way, but you've got like a little tag there, not on the other side. And if you look at, you can see that the tag goes in. So you can't really get it the wrong way around. That's going to get plugged in. So that has to go all the way in. It's not loose at all the way in. And then the next bit is the belts. The belt was really easy to come off, but I imagine it'll be a little bit harder to go on. And the belt, you can see it's not kind of toothed, it's kind of lined, reamed, whatever you want to call that, and it'll be worked by tension. So because that now spins quite freely, that obviously is going to spin quite freely. So the way I managed to work out what this was, I'll show you where the filter is shortly, but when my partner and I moved this drum around, it was really tough. So it's clearly a motor issue. Now, I think the technique for this is going to be a bit of leverage. So what I'll do is put the smaller, the cog, the motor on first, and then around this side, pull the wheel down to put it on. Be very careful not to snap it. Very similar to a car drive belt, and use that leverage to pull it around. So I think I'm going to need 2 hands for this. Bottom's on, top's on. Pull round. Careful not to break it. I'm going to put the camera down because I'm going to need 2 hands. I wasn't able to film that because I did 2 hands, but it's amazing how much flex these have got. I basically put the bottom on, put the top on, round to about there, give it a push, or pull, sorry, and it kind of sorts itself out. So there's a lot of tension there. It's a very strong belt. I'm going to have to make sure that it's in the right position, doesn't get rubbed at all. That's all in position. So once I've checked everything's fine in the right position, not going to rub, I'll put the back on and give it a whirl. So what I couldn't do before was that. I wasn't able to show you what it did because I didn't have the belt on, but I mean, it was quite clear from the motor. The motor wasn't turning, so this was, if you put all your force into it, it was kind of going, like, you could feel the magnets pulling. It wasn't kind of an even pull, so that's how it should feel. That's how the drum should feel on the inside. That's how it feels on the back. That's a nice tension there. Motor should be okay. Plugged in, 2 screws. Let's give it a go. Well, actually, what I'll do first is show you this mount. So this is the mount that comes off the back. It's pretty simple. We'll go, so you can see the little tab in there. Goes on the back. We're going to find the screws. So time for the test. So I was going to put it on a spin. So before, the motor wouldn't do anything. So that's the pump. Right, so there's nothing in it. It's spinning, so that has worked. So there you go, that has worked. Nice and smooth. I think what I would like to do is try and open up that motor to work out what was wrong with it. So if anyone knows in the comments, let me know kind of what kind of issue could cause that to a motor. I've actually had the same thing happen, similar, on a DeWalt Strimmer, which I've not thrown away, and I was kind of keen to see whether it would be fixable. I'm sure everything's fixable if you really try, but I'm quite keen on not throwing things away. So we now have a working washing machine. I'll put the model number on the title of this video. As you see, it's quite simple, it's about getting the right parts. Very simple actually, so all good.